Before we proceed, please note that the views and opinions expressed by our guests on this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Community Update. The content of this interview is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is important to note that Community Update is committed to providing a platform for diverse perspectives and open dialogue while adhering to applicable laws and regulations. We respect the principles of free speech and the importance of a free and open media. Our guests are invited to share their unique insights and experiences, and their statements should be considered in that context. Viewers are encouraged to form their own opinions based on a variety of sources and viewpoints. We encourage constructive and respectful discussions among our viewers while always prioritizing adherence to relevant legal and ethical standards. It is essential to keep in mind that the information presented in this interview may not be complete or fully accurate, and viewers are urged to verify the information independently, especially in cases where controversial or sensitive subjects are discussed. Community Update is committed to responsible broadcasting and ensuring that all content complies with applicable laws and regulations. We appreciate your understanding and support as we continue to provide a diverse range of perspectives and foster informed dialogue in our community.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Community Update. I'm Matthew Byard. Tamara Brown experienced what is probably one of every parent's worst nightmares. In October 2023, after dropping her 9-year-old daughter Amarah off at a birthday party, Tamara received word that her daughter had been physically assaulted by a grown adult woman. The woman had even apparently ripped some of Amarah's hair out of her scalp. Tamara and Amarah are both here with us today to discuss their side of the story, as well as what Tamara says is clear-cut racism with respect to how the incident has since been handled by the police and the Public Prosecution Service. Tamara and Amarah, thank you for joining me. Now, Amarah, you told me you like to be referred to as Mary, right?
Yes,
so I'll refer to you as Mary. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you here. Mm-hmm. So you were at a friend's birthday party?
Yeah.
You're 9 years old now. Were you 9 years old then?
Yeah. Was I? Yeah, I was. So my birthday had just been passed.
It had just passed. Okay. When's your birthday?
September.
September? Oh, okay. So you were 9 years old. You were at a friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
You were in the swimming pool. There was water slides. What happened?
So there was a 15-year-old there with us, and we were going down the slide, but there was the woman who pulled my hair. Her daughter was standing at the bottom of the slide, and I didn't see her there because how far the slide is, and I couldn't see all the way. So when I went down, I didn't realize I had kicked her, and before I could get off, the woman pulled me out the water by my hair.
Wow. So this was the girl's mom who you hit. So was this girl? She was roughly your age?
Yeah, I would say.
And you didn't mean to hit her? I
did not, no.
So why would her mom, I guess, get upset with you? Did she think that you meant to hit her? Did she care?
I don't even know. I don't know. She was already very, very being mean to us, but I didn't think she would put her hands on me, so I don't know why she did it.
So before you even went down the water slide, you said she was already being mean to you?
Yeah.
In what way?
She came out from the sauna, and she said that she was going to call the hotel on us because there was no adult there with us. The age limit is 12. I was 9, but there was a 15-year-old with us watching.
Right. But she was just mad that you guys were there under her assumption by yourselves.
Yeah.
So you collided with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She approached you right away. Did she jump in the pool?
No, she was out the pool, pulled me up, and then Carter, the people that I was there with, there were 4 witnesses, older witnesses, and I ran out the pool water, and then the people that were with me came with me. We went back up to our room, and we told my godmother who I was there with, and she came down, and the woman...
So, sorry to interrupt. So this is at a hotel swimming pool?
Yeah.
Okay. So you hadn't been playing with the little girl, or were you guys not getting along, or she was just another...
We were not getting along.
Oh, you weren't getting along.
She was pushing me down the slide, and other people. She was coming down with us she was just coming down with us, and yeah.
So she was standing outside of the pool and grabbed you out of the pool by your hair or by...
My hair.
Like she pulled your hair so hard that it pulled you out of the pool.
Yeah.
And your friends were there? Were there any other adults there?
4 witnesses.
4 witnesses, wow. How did they react, or did you not notice?
So when we went up to the room, the witnesses came out from there, and they were saying, like, you're not sorry, and stuff like that.
To the woman they were saying?
Yeah. And the woman said she was sorry, and then she had, I think it was her boyfriend that was there with her, that come out, and he was really aggressive. He come out and had said, like, was backing the people that were trying to help up, which he didn't care about what would happen.
Really?
Yeah.
So who was trying to help, and what was he doing?
My
inside
godmother.
of them? So you guys came back downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he get physical with anyone at all? You said he was pushing people back?
He was pushing people back.
And you didn't know the woman? You hadn't seen her or the boyfriend before?
No, this was my first time.
And your hair was ripped out?
Yeah.
When did you notice that? How bad was it? Like, give me an idea of what that
well, the
looked
first
like.
day when my mom had come to the hotel, we woke up, had breakfast, and when I woke up, my head, it was like really hurting. After the assault happened, I stayed up until 5 a.m. with headache. So
Really?
when I woke up, the head was just like really hurting. So my mom was like, do you want to go to the hospital? And I was like, let's just see. Maybe it's just like the first reaction. Maybe it would go away. Mm-hmm. The next day, the worst head pain come from my head. Really? So my mom was like, okay, we're going to have to go to the hospital for this. So the whole ride, we had to go to the hospital. When we got there, I threw up in the hospital bathroom. So the hospital doctor seen me and said it was migraine.
Did he know what had happened?
Yeah,
okay.
Mom told him. So he said that I had bad migraine and he wanted to give me IV. So when I got the IV, they just put the needle in, but they had numbing stuff on it for 30 minutes. So when they injected it, like maybe 1 minute after, I started getting really emotional because I wanted to go to my house and I was really mad about what happened to the situation. Mm. So
it's hard just to hear about it. So, and when they stuck a needle like in your arm, it had to like stay there?
For about 30 minutes, yeah.
You're braver than me. I'll just say that. Tamara, I want to ask you some questions, I guess, about what happened. First question, how and when did you find out about what happened? What was your reaction?
I found out the next morning. It was on a Sunday. I found out. I immediately went to pick her up. And when I got there, I called the police back.
So somebody had already called the police when it happened?
So initially, my friend had called the police the night that it happened. I think she said around 10 at night. The police didn't show up until between 3 and 5, and they didn't go to make a contact with, initiate a contact with her or with my daughter. They left a message at the front desk for her to call back the non-emergency the next morning.
And what understanding do you have as to why they proceeded that way? Maybe you're not sure.
At that time, I wasn't 100% sure why. Mm-hmm. Why that. I mean, they said their reasoning was that they didn't want to wake a child up at that time in the morning. Typically, that's not how things work with the police. Okay. I feel that they should have gone up to take the statements, lay the charge, and offer my daughter medical assistance as they would with anybody else, and that didn't happen.
Community Update reached out to the Halifax Regional Police about Tamara Brown's claims. Public Information Officer Constable John McLeod responded saying, on October 7, 2023, at approximately 10:35 p.m., officers received a report of an assault not in progress that had occurred at a hotel in Dartmouth. A youth had been assaulted by a woman who was not known to her. Medical attention was not requested, and there was not an immediate concern for the youth's safety, as the involved groups had separated. At approximately 5 a.m., officers attended the scene to begin gathering evidence and speaking with witnesses. The suspect was identified, but she checked out of the hotel. At approximately 10:30 a.m., officers returned to speak to the victim. The suspect lived out of province, and officers liaised with Royal Newfoundland Constabulary to interview and charge the suspect in December 2023 with assault causing bodily harm. October 7 was an extremely busy evening for the patrol division. In relation to the delay, officers had to prioritize calls that had immediate safety concerns. Further to that, additional resources were deployed that evening as officers were managing two significant public safety concerns in the downtown core of Halifax in relation to a scheduled concert and unsanctioned Dalhousie homecoming events. Investigations involving youth often have additional complexities. Time must be taken to ensure that they are completed properly so that when the case is brought before the courts, there are no preventable issues. Should anyone have any concerns with their interaction with any member of the Halifax Regional Police, we would encourage them to contact our Professional Standards Division so their concerns can be addressed.
I went off the handle when I called the police. It was a hotel. Obviously, people travel, people are in and out. That was my biggest concern, that I didn't know who this person was. The hotel wouldn't give me any information. The police came after probably about an hour of me calling them, and when they got there, they immediately told me this person had checked out. They live in Newfoundland, and then they went on to say it was going to be a long process. I found the four witnesses myself. It just so happened that they were on their way to check out, and my daughter spotted them, so I went up and just talked to them.
These were adults?
It was for adults, yes.
Okay. For
adult ladies.
And the woman who attacked your daughter, this was a white woman?
Yes.
The witnesses, were they white, black, another race? You don't want to say?
They were white.
They were white.
mean, I don't know them personally, but they appeared to be white.
So when you spoke with them, what was their reaction? Like, were they empathetic towards you?
I didn't get much time to speak to them. Everything was happening like within seconds. As soon as I walked in, before I even was able to initiate to call the police, they were on the elevator. My daughter had said that one of them was the witness. I just went up and said to them that I was the parent of the child that had been assaulted, and I was going to make a police call. I didn't have any conversation about what happened. We didn't discuss it or anything. I just asked them if they would be willing to wait around for the police, and they agreed to do so.
So you don't know them. They didn't have any reason to
I've never
lie
seen
for your side of the story.
I still have
no
no clue who these people are. They did wait and give statements to the police, and are supposed to be witnesses, but I don't know them and have never had any contact before or after.
Right. And so you mentioned that the woman was from Newfoundland. I assume they since figured out who she was, and she's been charged.
Yes.
And so I assume, and you told me that took some coordination between, I guess, the Halifax Regional Police and the police in Newfoundland. What can you tell me about that? You say there was some conflicting information that came about?
The whole process in general just seems to be taking long, and it's not being taken serious. I mean, initially it took almost 3 weeks from the date that I made the call for an officer to even come out to take a statement and take the complaint from me and my daughter. From there, I was told that they had to deal with the Newfoundland Constabulary, so it was going to take some time, is what they told me. Did
that sound reasonable to you at that point in time?
It didn't sound reasonable to me because this is a child who had been assaulted, and I feel like, I mean, Newfoundland isn't China, it's not Toronto, like it's. So I didn't feel like it should be taking this amount of time. When I started to have to deal with the Newfoundland police is when I started to notice that things just weren't right, and we weren't, like, it was clear cut that something wasn't right here.
So you spoke to the members of the Halifax Regional Police, and then you spoke to members of the, I should have the name of the department, but the police in Newfoundland. You spoke with them directly?
Yes.
I
got the information from the investigating officer, Jen Turner, here in Halifax. And then I was in touch with Newfoundland Constabulary, where it's the child abuse assault unit. It's Constable Hickey, who was in charge, and I had contact with him, who He said to me that he wasn't going to arrest this person because this person, they wanted to give this person time to get proper legal advice and the help that they need.
Now, at this point in time, did they say whether or not they had enough?
And this was in December.
This was in December.
This was in December.
About 2 months after the incident took place. In your mind, or did you know for a fact whether or not, or maybe Halifax Regional Police told you, did they have enough information to lay a charge, or were they still gathering information? I know
They
you
had
mentioned
enough information. It was by the end of October is when, if I recall right, is when the file was ready and they had done all of the investigation and had what they needed. And then they started to say it's on Newfoundland and that's what the holdup is, and that Newfoundland isn't getting back to them.
And the whole month of November went by.
The whole month of November went by. And then at one point I was told by Jen Turner that the arrest had been made, and then she recanted and said that they hadn't made it, that something more important had come up down there with Constable Hickey or something.
Why was she under the impression that an arrest had been made, or are you not sure?
From what she told me, she said she had an email that looked like the arrest had been made.
Okay.
When I questioned why there was no warrant being issued, they said that they couldn't issue a warrant for her.
Who said this? The Newfoundland police?
Halifax.
Oh, okay.
They said that they weren't able to issue a warrant. When I asked what was taking so long and for her to be charged, they didn't put her on any conditions.
After she was charged?
I don't think she's even been fingerprinted to date.
And I want to go back just to one thing. So there's witness statements in terms of evidence. Is there any other evidence? You mentioned there.
My daughter has doctor's documentation
Of her
from
injuries.
the IWK and from the family doctor. There's school documentation.
The incident itself, you mentioned there's a video that you haven't seen,
Yes,
but
the
that does
hotel
exist.
has the video.
Who has
The
it?
police have the video and
From the hotel surveillance?
Yeah.
Okay. And you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. They won't let me see the video. They didn't even tell me who did the assault on my daughter until she was charged and after me going to media.
Right. Now, I guess I was going to ask you about that, but I'll ask you about it now. There was one article that was written in for Saltwire, I want to say.
Yeah.
But you said you had trouble, getting the story out in the media. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Or what was that like?
Initially, I emailed a lot of news station, television, and newspaper. No one seemed interested. I spoke to some of the stations, but they didn't take the story. I don't know if there was enough evidence or detail for them to take it, but it's been very difficult. I was only able to get Saltwire to take some interest. And then this time around, when I reached out, it was very difficult to be able to get him to even do a story.
Right. And I know that right now in Canada, with in terms of social media and Facebook, news articles, even like say with Saltwire, they can't appear on the news feed. A lot of people sometimes take screenshots. Have you gotten a lot of feedback about the story? Does it seem like people don't know that it happened? What sort of feedback have you gotten since the initial article came out?
It seems like people know that it happened, but it's definitely not out there like it could be. Right. It's more people that in my circle and family and friends that I'm able to tell about it. It's not really out there.
All right. Now, you also mentioned the Public Prosecution Service here in Nova Scotia. You mentioned Chief Crown Attorney Cheryl, I want to say Schurman. We had a debate about how to pronounce SCHURMAN. So you had a conversation with her, I believe it was over the phone with respect to the case. How did that?
Yes,
that
because throughout the whole process, I've been reaching out to the Crown Department of Justice, and victim services to try to get all the information I can on in regard to my daughter's rights and services that are there to support her as the victim. But it's been very, very limited services and information. I left a message for the Crown wanting to have a discussion about the video because I feel that as her mom that I should be able to see that video. Their main reasoning for that is that they keep telling me that because I'm going to be a witness, which I disagree with. I can't be a witness because I wasn't there. I wasn't part of what happened. I didn't see what happened.
Yeah.
However, the video is important because I'm her mom and I need to know, like, we don't know how long this is going to affect her, if it's going to affect her for the rest of her life, if, you know, like, she still gets bruises in her scalp and open wounds that she's medicated for. She still has bald spots. I had a conversation with the Crown and the conversation didn't go well. She basically told me that, first and foremost, she told me that there's no such thing as child abuse in Canada. She said only in the States.
Now, what does she mean by that? Does she mean it doesn't take place, or by definition, the definition is different? That's hard to believe that someone would say that, especially a prosecutor.
We had a conversation about how I'm feeling about this, and I explained to her how I feel like this is being handled differently because we're brown, we're of color. Right. She agreed with that, and she said that it happens and it's been happening, and it's unfortunate.
Sorry, I have to pause you there because you said she agreed. She agreed that her office wasn't doing everything that they should have been doing, the Newfoundland Police, the Halifax Police?
She agreed that racism is that people of color aren't always treated fairly within the system.
Just in a general sense, she said that?
Yeah.
Okay. But you were telling her you think that it plays, this is specific to this case, that it's happening in this case.
I specifically said to her, I went on and said to her that I feel like if I had been able to be there to do something about what was going on with my daughter, or retaliate, then I would be in jail.
Community Update reached out to Acting Chief Crown Attorney Cheryl Schurman about Tamara Brown's claims. This was her response. The incident in question is deeply distressing. As this matter is currently moving through the court process, I am unable to discuss the details as public comments at this stage have the potential of jeopardizing the prosecution. However, in Canada, child abuse is not a standalone charge in the criminal code. Any form of abuse against a child is a crime. How it is laid by police depends on the nature of the offense. There are specific charges related to sexual offenses involving a child as the victim, as well as charges regarding neglecting a child. However, apart from such charges, there are no specific charges in the Canadian Criminal Code dealing with physical assault on a child. Additionally, I can share that the previous appearance was adjourned as neither the defense nor the Crown were ready to proceed. The next appearance is scheduled for June 6, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. in Dartmouth Provincial Court No. 2.
And to go back on something you said, when you showed up the next day, the woman had already checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't say that in a threatening sense, I don't assume. You just,
no,
I can just imagine.
Not in a threatening sense. I say it in the sense that that's the reality. Every parent would protect their child if you have the opportunity. However, I wasn't able to be there to protect my daughter. Mm-hmm. She also went on to say to me that the system is set up for the accused who's being charged and not for the witness. Not for the victims.
Right. What does she mean by that?
Well, we were having a conversation about me and the amount of support that my daughter was receiving and the fact that she was the victim. And she basically agreed with me when I said it's almost like the accused is the one that, is getting all of the support here. And she said it's unfortunate, but the system is set up to help the accused who's being charged and not the victim.
Right. So now, when we had a brief conversation about this before, so when people hear, allegations of racism, some people will immediately roll their eyes. But you say in this instance, it's not a subtle case of anti-black racism. You say it's, in your mind, it's clear cut. Is that true?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Maybe you already said so, but
Because there's other things that just don't add up through. I mean, I've never heard of any black person getting in trouble with the law in any aspect, no matter how big or small it is, and them giving them the time that they need to get a lawyer and get the proper legal advice that they need. Like, I have text messages from the police saying to me that they're waiting to set up a proper appointment for this lady to come in.
the Newfoundland place.
And yes, Newfoundland.
Okay. Because normally someone would be charged, and then after they're charged, then they have to go about their legal matters. You're saying that they told you they were giving her a chance to do that before they even made an arrest or a related charge. Okay.
Also, the fact that I mean, this was an assault on a child. This lady has a child. Child protection was involved. This lady told them she wasn't interested in an interview, and it just went away, just like that. Not
told who she wasn't.
She told child protection that she wasn't going to do an interview. She wasn't interested, and that she had a lawyer, and it just went away. It didn't happen. And
you, I guess, naturally, tried to find out some information about the woman. What can you tell us about the woman?
I know that she works with children. She works at, I don't know what her exact position is, but she worked for, I think it's Mother and Child, Mother Goose or something of that sort in Newfoundland, in Labrador. Newfoundland, St. John's, I think. I think she's on a leave now because Google updated it, and I seen it. That's the only source that I have is Google.
So you got her name and Googled it. Now, I almost want to ask you if you want to share her name, but you're saying you're not even sure if she's been charged yet. Is that correct? Or has she been charged?
She has been 100% charged. I have, she's been charged with assault causing bodily harm. And,
do you care to share her name?
Jean Bantleman.
And you Googled her?
I Googled her.
Now, you also told me that when you Googled her a time later, a lot of the information went away?
As soon as the police released their name to me, I immediately Googled to see if I could find her on Facebook, what I could find, got all information I could, screenshot, started sharing it. Once she was put on a leaf, everything just disappeared. So it doesn't, you can't find her anymore under the child care facility.
So you say she worked with children. In what capacity, and how do you know she's been put on leave?
I'm not sure what her position there is. It looks like it's some type of family facility, maybe doing parent and child programs of some sort. I'm not 100% sure.
And do you assume she was put on a leave? Did somebody tell you that specifically? I'm just curious.
Google updated on their site, on the facility site, that she was going to be going on a leave. It was like January 3rd, I think.
Right. So this took place all the way back in October. She has been charged. So what's coming up in the immediate future? Has she pleaded guilty yet? Not guilty yet?
I have no clue. Nobody's really telling me anything. She was charged with assault causing bodily harm, and I asked the investigating officer to explain to me why that was the charge that was being laid, and she explained it to me, and she said that with the evidence that they have and with what she's seen on that video, it's assault causing bodily harm, and she said that she couldn't go, that would be the charge that she would like to go anything higher, would have had to have a weapon, but she said it was that serious, that what was on the video.
Were you satisfied with that? Or do you think,
no.
You think she should have a harsher charge?
It's child abuse.
Okay.
I think they should be calling it child abuse. Okay. She's a minor. And I have a problem with the Crown trying to give me misleading information.
All right. So I'm hesitant to call this a silver lining, but if, for lack of a better term, if there is a silver lining based off of what Mary has said, based on what you told me, if there's witnesses and there's video and you said you get a good sense based off of what the police told you about the video, I would assume that if she is charged and this evidence is, as you say it is, that she'll be criminally convicted. Are you optimistic that she'll be criminally convicted?
No.
Why not? If there's a video of it happening, there's witnesses saying that they saw it, why wouldn't a judge convict, or why wouldn't she plead guilty?
The next court date is May 10th, and that's for a plea. This is the third court date. The first court date, I didn't go myself. I'm not required to. The second court date, I went and just sat in just to see what's being said, what's going on. Her lawyer didn't show up, but was on the phone and had asked the court if he could get another date because he's received an overwhelming amount of disclosures. Shortly after, the Crown calls me, and that's when I had the conversation with her, and she's basically saying to me that
she being the Crown?
The Crown, Cheryl Schurman. She's saying that regardless of what this person pleads guilty to, and she's saying that it's looking like this person is going to enter a plea, but for a lesser charge. So it's looking like she's going to enter a guilty plea for assault and not assault causing bodily harm. And the Crown is saying that she's the one that makes this decision, and that this person is almost...
She being the Crown saying that she makes the decision. So you wanted there to be child abuse charge. They put it at assault causing bodily harm, but you say she's going to plead now to a lesser charge than that, based off what you've been told.
I'm not 100% sure how it all works, because assault is, it's a broad term. A lot of things fall, child abuse falls under that, but they're not calling it child abuse. And the Crown specifically said to me that there's no child abuse in Canada unless it's sexual, but that's not the truth.
Really? And so what would you like to see happen to this woman in terms of justice?
I want her to be criminally charged with the charge that's being laid, and I want it to be...
And if she's convicted, what sort of, like, I mean, should she get jail time? Should she... Or maybe you haven't thought that.
Realistically thinking, she's not going to get jail time. I already know that, and that's something that I've been told over and over and over and over, right from the first conversation with the investigating officer. That was said to me that she would never get jail time for this.
Okay. What type of sentence do you think she should get?
I think that she should be charged.
Right.
Not a probationary charge. She needs to have a charge, and I want her to be charged with child abuse and registered so that this affects her for the rest of her life. It's not, my daughter is going to be affected for the rest of her life, and the Crown is pretty much saying that, she's pretty much summing it up by saying that she thinks this person is going to enter a plea of a lesser charge, and she's going to be on a 12-month probationary charge, and she doesn't get in any trouble, this goes away.
So in which case she would still be allowed to work with children?
Which is what I feel that they're trying to protect.
Right. So between Jane Bantleman, the Halifax Regional Police, Newfoundland Police, the Public Prosecution Service, have you thought or talked about a lawsuit at all, or maybe that's none of my business just yet? Do you fault the Newfoundland Police more so than the Halifax Police? Are they equally guilty? Is the Halifax Police, did they do their job, or?
I'd say they're equally guilty.
Okay.
Halifax Regional didn't do their job as well as they could have. And
in terms of, especially when they first showed up, you're saying? Yes,
had they came when the call was made, this could have been a different outcome. Rather I would still be here sitting in this chair in the court, like the court system and the justice system. I would still be dealing with all this. I don't know, but it would have made a difference.
All right. What do you think should happen?
She should go to jail.
Think she should go to jail? How are you doing since then? We've had a very lovely conversation before we started. I'm glad that you're doing okay, but if this happened to you the way you say, it never should have, I don't think.
There's been a lot more doctor's appointments than I think I ever had. I went to physiotherapy for the reason
Right.
of what happened.
Are you still experiencing any pain at all, or is that all gone away?
I wake up sometimes with ankles, some back pain.
Oh, really? Anything I forgot to ask? Any final thoughts? I mean, I'm sure we'll leave here today, and there'll probably be a bunch of things that you probably said, "Oh, I should have mentioned this. I should have mentioned that." But any final thoughts? I mean, it's a heavy thing to deal with. I know that, but maybe we covered it all.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, Tamara, I want to thank you for coming in. Mary. It's Mary or Mari?
Mary.
Mary, okay. Well, Mary, thank you for sharing your side of the story. There's 3 sides to every story, but you're very brave for sharing yours. And thank you very much for coming in. Nobody forced you to come in today? No? Well, again, thank you very much, Tamara. Thank you, too.